in order to really understand a person's, diet and and impact to health, we really need to understand their lifestyle. You may have families that are, relying mostly on packaged foods. Look at, work schedules, the data is out there that, individuals that have to work night shifts are eating a lot of those packaged foods. That's going to have a negative impact on your diet. That's probably going to increase your weight and, impact your likelihood of being obese, having diabetes.
Like foods that are packaged is like, it's basically one, it's cheap. Two, you really don't require skill of you don't require skill to cook it, actually cook it. And three, you can just put it in the microwave and boom, it's done. Quick, easy meal. And four, let's say you're in a rush, you can just buy a packaged meal and just put it in the microwave. It's a way better to cook your own food. And hey, you'll learn how to cook. It's okay. I mean, you don't always have to be perfect at first, but that's why you learn. You make mistakes. You learn from the mistakes, and you grow.
And depending on how much time your doctor is actually taking to talk to you about your diet, and even just getting to know you and understanding, where it is that, you can even improve your diet, because again, depending on the individual, that can look so different, food. So you can be a medical provider and tell them, you need to eat this, this, and that. But if that's not even feasible for the family, or the individual, then there's really is no point, So it's really just a matter of, having healthcare providers that either can spend the time to get to know you and meet you where you're at and provide you with tools and support so that you can meet your goal, or if you have a healthcare system where you have a referral system, and you have providers dedicated to that can really spend the time and have a background in a wider background versus just, because yes, diet and nutrition is one component of your health, but then if we look at the social determinants of health, socioeconomic status, education, all of that is going to also have an impact on your health.
When we were growing up, just mainly Burger King for the main diet when I was anywhere between like 4 to 8 or I don't even remember. That was a big part of my childhood, but no, it wasn't. It's just mainly because we're in a tight pinch and that was cheap. Now that we better on our feet, more fruits and vegetables for sure.
Component. Most of us have a relationship with food, right? And there's celebratory foods, there's traditional foods. So we also want to honor that. So again, and it also depends on what the weight loss goal for that individual is. So unfortunately, there's not, a one size fits all, that if you're obese, this is the diet that you need to follow. And if you have diabetes, this is the diet that you have to follow. Because again, we just need to look at the person's overall lifestyle. We need to look at what that person's medical conditions are besides, is it just the diabetes that we're working with? And if that person, has diabetes, what are their glucose levels looking like throughout the day? You need to learn about, what that person enjoys eating. Because if you have a person with diabetes and I don't take the time to talk to you and then all of a sudden I take away everything that, you enjoy eating, that person's probably not going to be motivated to follow that diet because it's not enjoyable to them. And food, for most of us, it needs to be enjoyable.
Nutritionists exist to help you to adjust to your lifestyle of what you eat. So a nutritionist nutritionist always plays a big role to your life, or your food life, what you eat. That's pretty much it.
But long term, you're not usually able to be so drastic with your diet changes because you start missing the things that you love, right? So that's why I usually like to approach it more from, okay, where can we make small gradual changes that you're going to be able to do for the long run, And we want to build these into your life so that they're enjoyable, right? So that it doesn't feel like a sacrifice, because no one wants to feel like we're punishing ourselves, or we're being deprived of something. If I'm having dessert after every meal, maybe one of those desserts I want to replace them with a piece of fruit, then it doesn't seem like such a like such a drastic, you know, compromise, and it doesn't seem like a punishment, you know, because you also want to be kind to yourself, and as a, you know, provider, you also need to be kind to that person that, you know, food, for most of us, it should be enjoyed, and if we enjoy something, we're more likely to be excited about and want to do it than if it feels like a punishment. A lot of Latino diets, you know, we don't always include vegetables as a large component of our diet. A lot of Latino diets tend to be, you know, really high in, you know, carbs and proteins, but then we kind of leave out the veggies. So I think if anyone wants to improve their diet, is, you know, kind of look at what you're eating. If you're lacking vegetables, that's usually like the biggest bang for your buck, you know.
Like say apples, you can eat an apple a day. It's a lot cheaper. You just go over there. But it might seem more expensive than the Burger King. But whatever you have left, whatever your leftovers you have, you can save for the next day. If you put your hand in the game and you think smart about it, yeah, it can last a while. Heck, a lot more than Burger King. Once the fries are cold, they're done. Good luck eating those. Yeah. They don't taste the same.
For example, you're having a big dinner, I think that would be the biggest bang for your buck, right? Mm-hmm. Start with your dinner, you know, replace a little bit of that plate with a vegetable, you know, and if that's going to take the place of, you know, some of your carbs, your rice, your tortilla, that's going to be a good place to start.
Just usually ask, hey, what's your diet looking like? Oh, mostly beans, every now and then, every Friday, like a good bit of steak or something, and every now and then some sushi. Oh, you need to cut back on the steak, but yeah, eat some more sushi. Have at it. Usually like that.
Recommendation is, you know, ideally if your plate could be half fruits and vegetables, and then, you know, I believe like a quarter protein, a quarter carbs, you're definitely going to have a more balanced diet, you know. So that's usually where I start with a lot of my families when they're concerned about their weight, is, you know, just start seeing where you can include a little bit more of those vegetables. Because again, if you're just gonna steam broccoli and carrots every night, that's gonna get really old really fast, right? So I always tell my families is, you know, find ways to enjoy them, you know, add different spices, even just the cooking method, you know, because again, something steamed is not gonna have as much flavor, but if you grill it, you know, that's gonna add some flavor. Your spices, and that way too, you're not relying on salt to flavor your food as much, right? Mm-hmm. And then spices, of course, are gonna have other health benefits. So find a way to include veggies in your diet and make them enjoyable, so that again, it feels like something you want to do and not something you have to do.